Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for September 19th through 25th. This week I read 2 books, I watched 4 shows, and I listened to 1 book. We are home. We got home last night, so there will be a lot more travel vlogs coming your way. I've already scheduled the next couple of weeks of them, and I think I still have another 3 weeks of footage to get through. So if you haven't watched those yet, I'll put the playlist down below because there have been a lot of them. At this point, I think I've edited just over half the trip. The first book I finished this week was the last one I needed to complete for Demonathon, and that's It Came From the Sky. This book is about a high school student who is very into his science, and he's setting up an experiment to test something that he has created, and his brother kind of mucks it up, and basically there's a snowball event from there. It goes from an explosion in their field that should have been very small to being very big, and then suddenly, eventually we get to the fact that people think that aliens have visited them. From there, he decides that a way that he can stand out when he's applying to MIT is to create a sociology experiment around this hoax situation, so he goes with it. I thought that this one was really long and interesting because you got a lot of different dynamics between him and his family and the people in his small town and the guy that he's dating but won't admit that he's dating and the whole reasons behind that, and there was a lot in this and I very much enjoyed it. There was even a subplot about a multi-level marketing scheme that I know for sure Savvy should read this book because she would pick that apart. This is all about hoaxes and besting people and people just believing that the aliens have arrived and flocking this small town, which is made up. I had to look it up just to make sure because there is something in this small town that I was like, if that actually exists, I want to go there. But it does not. That, of course, was the world's largest lava lamp that had been decommissioned many, many years ago, and I was just thinking, we've seen a bunch of world's largest on this trip, why not also go to this small town one day and find it? But sadly, it does not actually exist. The other thing I finished reading this week was a novella, and that was Defekt by Nino Cipri. This is a follow-up to Finna, and originally they weren't going to make this into a series, and then they just had a kind of an idea for a background character in the first book, and we got this one, and it's delightful. If you've happened to have read Finna, this one centers around Derek, who is a background person who also worked at the store. In fact, he was off sick the day that the happenings of Finna happened, and that's kind of why the happenings of Finna happened. I'm being intentionally vague because if you haven't read it yet, I don't want to wreck it for you, but if you have read it, you'll know what's happening. This one is another staying in the store and spooky things start happening type of situation, but it's so much more to that, and there's a nice twist that you meet these incredible new characters, and I'm not going to wreck it because, again, it's a novella, so it's very short, but I highly suggest this one. It was a lot of fun. This week I also finished the last episode of Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner, which was with the host, of course, David Chang, but it was also with Kate McKinnon, and they had some incredible conversations. This is such a great show because yes, they are showing off food, and I also appreciated that she was vegetarian so she couldn't try everything like people on food shows always do, but they had some wonderful conversations, and I would happily watch hundreds of other episodes like this from around the world. I also watched the entire 2nd season of Glow Up. It is a makeup artist challenge based in the UK. I very much enjoy this show because I very much enjoy anybody doing the artistry that they do in a competition setting. It's very neat to me. Not everyone appreciates a competition setting when it comes to their art though, which is actually something that came up in this season, and I very much enjoyed who ended up winning. I think I would have been happy with either of the finalists winning because they made some gorgeous art through this series, and I'm excited to continue watching this as well. I think there is another season. We also continued on with Dr. Death, and although it is interesting and I'm excited to see kind of why these things happened, it dragged a little in this 2nd episode, and I don't know if it's because I have like a knee-jerk reaction of being really opposed to seeing his background and seeing what he was like when he was younger and how that translates into his life now, because I feel like something like that humanizes him, and yes, he is a human, that's completely valid and fine, but I don't really want to be too sympathetic to this person that ruined so many lives. So I don't really know how to feel about it. I think it's interesting that we are getting all this background information, but I think this episode's pacing dragged a little bit. We also started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. I think we're watching the 7th season because I think I've at least seen it before, but I don't think Chad had, so it was basically, since we haven't watched it in a while, go back, start at the beginning of the 7th season, and then I think the rest of it is on Netflix now. If not, there's at least one more season on Netflix, so somebody tell me down below how many seasons does Brooklyn Nine-Nine have so I can figure out if I'm going to have to wait for a future season. This is one of those shows that needs no introduction. It's comedy, it's hilarious. I'm very much enjoying watching bits and pieces again because I don't think I actually finished this season, but some of it felt a little bit familiar. The one book I listened to this week was my classic for Sci-Fi September, and that was Farhenheit 451. Yeah, I'm not a big classics person, so I finally got around to reading this one, and I liked that I could read it as an audiobook because anything that has kind of antiquated language to it is better if I can just listen to it. This is not a very old classic though, so the vocabulary wasn't an issue for me. I actually ended up very much enjoying this one. For those of you who haven't read it before, it is about a fireman, but in this society, firemen don't put out fires, they start fires when books are discovered in people's houses. When I was listening to it, it also brought to mind The Memory Police, which I recently read, which has a very similar theme to it. It's not about people setting books on fire, but it is about slowly taking away things from a society. And I felt it would be interesting to actually read these books in concert and then play off the different points that you can find in them. I think that would be an interesting project if I had enough time to do it. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that is down below, as well as a link to my PayPal and my Amazon wishlist in case you would like to buy me a book. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye.